Hi, my name is Curtis Patterson, and in this video, produced by the Global Koto Network, I'll be demonstrating a number of koto techniques through the context of Tsuchi Ningyo, a piece for two kotos written by Tadao Sawai in 1972. We'll work through the piece section by section, looking at both the koto 1 and koto 2 parts. Each sectional explanation will be followed by a demonstration performance. It may be best and helpful for you to work through the explanations and the demonstrations in a hands-on manner with a koto, actual koto tuned in front of you. Getting started with Tsuchi Ningyo, we first need to look at the tuning and note that the koto 1 and 2 parts are tuned exactly the same way. They're tuned with 4 and 9 moved up one full step from hirajoshi, from B flat to C. And with the first bridge moved down so that we get a low D. So 1 is tuned 1 octave below 5. I'll start with the first koto part, and this is the A section. I'll play the first 2 measures to start off. There are a number of important elements here. The first is the shan. We want to make sure that we start from out here in front of the koto, slightly above the string, and drop down in a relaxed way, but in a solid and firm way, landing on that next string. Then I'm going to move my hand up here to play the 10 with the skui. The skui is scooping with the backside and this edge of the pick along the string. You might think of this section and a lot of the movement in Tsuchi Ningyo as having kind of a rhythmic down, up kind of feeling to it. So I think of down, up, down, up, down, up, down, then kodo din. So you watch as you see my hand, I'm lifting quite a bit. This kodo din pattern is quite interesting. We use it a lot with the koto. It's a descending 3-note pattern, and we verbalize it as kodo din, kodo din. K is a hard sound, so you can think of that as being a little bit stronger, almost an accented note. And then ro din are soft, they're soft consonant sounds. So we play those a little bit softer. So kodo din, kodo din, kodo din, kodo din. And you'll note that as I'm playing those, I'm lifting my hand up, and that as I drop down, that helps to make the ko of kodo din a little bit stronger. Kodo din, and then I lift a little bit in between. Measures 3 and 4 are the same set of patterns, dropping down into each of these and thinking kodo din. Line 2 at the beginning is just another 2 measures of kodo din for first koto. So think of the first note of each pattern. Think of 10, 8, 10, 8, 13, 11, 10, 8. Dropping into each of those. And shan. Again, you notice with my hand, I'm kind of playing strongly on the downbeats. Down, up, down, up, down, up. This next section of ascending 8th notes, you might group into 2. So 2, 3, then 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6. Again, maybe lifting up to lift, down, lifting down. Nine, 11, shan. Be careful here at the end of line 3. It's a 9 with the 11, and now we're going to be playing an awase zumi with 5 and 10. Now, we've It's important to think of having the fourth finger resting on the sixth string. Maybe as you come up, we're doing 6, 7, 8. I've got my fourth finger on the sixth, so I'm ready. My thumb is 9, 11, so it's already resting on the 10 string, so all we have to do is add the 5 to that. 9, 11, shun. With the left hand, we want to make sure that we're not playing too far out to the center of the kodo. Maybe play out about maybe 10, 12 centimeters from the ryukaku. Use the meaty part of your finger, and I'm using my middle finger here. Next, we have another type of awasezume. This is a very close awasezume with the 12 and the 13 string. What I want you to do is put your hand in this type of a position where it's rounded, and if you look at it from above, it looks kind of like a backwards C almost, and then it's rounded, a little bit elongated with your fingers outstretched, and you're going to be playing with these corners here, and you're going to be pinching the strings together, okay, with your fingers rounded and then lifting up. So pinch together, lift up. Pinch together, lift up. Left hand plays with the middle finger and thumb in a similar kind of position, actually. I'd like to move on to the kodo 2 part, which starts out in a different way from kodo 1. It starts out with 2 elements. One is a upward glissando. I would use my middle finger there. It's indicated. And a tremolo at the same time with your right hand. Now tremolo, you're going to be putting the pick bands of your thumb and your index finger together. And when you do that, the corner of the index finger's pick, this kind of naturally kind of comes out of the bottom of that arrangement, and that's the edge that you're going to be using. That's the corner we'll be using. And we want to turn our pick fairly, so we're almost pretty much perpendicular to the string and almost kind of cutting across the string like this. When you start out with tremolo, concentrate just on this finger and don't try to do it too loudly in the beginning. Gradually, you'll be able to do it louder and louder the more you get used to it. So this starts out 2, 3, 4, then kodo din. Just as in kodo 1, lifting in between each of those. Tremolo here on the 6. We're going to go kodo din again. Lifting. And think kodo din. Line 2 continues with kodo din. Now we have something, it's almost like a reverse kodo din, ascending patterns of 3. So just as we played down and lifted at the end of each of these, we're going to lift at the end of each of these 3-note patterns. So the indication for fingering is second finger, third finger, back and forth. Then again, tremolo with the upward glissando, and again, 2, 3, 4. This next section starts with broken octaves. Up to now, we've talked about awasezume octaves. This is similar, but they're broken. So play down with your middle finger. When you play your thumb, you're going to be lifting your hand just as you play with the thumb. So we'll be playing down. Again, it's this kind of feeling of down and up, down and up. Down, up. Playing solidly with the middle finger. 5, 10, 10. This is 16th notes, and these are broken octaves here. So same thing. Feel that you're playing quite strong with your middle finger. Thumb is a little bit lighter, and lifting your hand in between. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have left hand and awasezume. The awasezume is on 8 and 13, so we're going to be placing our fourth finger on the 9. And then when we go down to the 5, 10, we'll place our fourth finger on the 6. And that will serve as your guide. So, at the end of the A section here, we have a full press on the 12 string. Now, 12 and 13 are one full step apart from each other. So this means that when you press hard, when you do the full press on 12, it will be the exact same pitch as the 13. So we're trying to get the same pitch there. Let's think of this in groups of 4 16th notes. So the first group is 13, 12, 8, 13. The second group is 12, 13, 8, 12. Then we have another group of 13, 12, 8, 13. The last beat is a hanashi, a release of the press in time. The second pattern is exact same pattern on a different set of strings. I'll play both for you here. And making sure when you're doing the full press that you press fully down into the string and that you're pressing downwards. Moving on to the B section, we can see that Kodo 1 starts out with a shan, just like it does in the A section. The difference is that in the A section, we immediately came up, and we're playing in eighth notes, we immediately came up to the 10. Here, there's more space, so we need to wait. They're quarter notes, 1 and 2, then 3 and 4, and Kodo-rin, lifting on 10 and lifting between as we go in between from the 10, 8, 10, 8, now waiting again, then 13, then the 11, scooping, squeeze, so it's a downward stroke with the upward scoop. And remember, when you're doing the scooey, that when you scoop up, it shouldn't be just your finger moving. Think of your whole hand also helping to make that scooping and that scraping sound by lifting your hand and bringing your thumb back as well. So 10, scoop, 8, 5, 3. 10, 8, 8. Okay, so with 10, 9, which each of these, let's think of them in groups of 2. So the 10, 9, then the 9, 8, 8, 7, with a slight lifting in between and a slightly lighter. So down, up, down, up, down, up. This is the first time we've used our 4th finger on our right hand. Okay, this is indicated with 3 dashes. You'll see 3 dashes in the score. That means we're using the 4th finger. You want to hook a little bit, hook under the string slightly so that you get a nice full sound. This is 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. Top of the 3rd line, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 7. Descending chordodine, remember to drop down and lift slightly at the end of each pattern of 3 notes. Here we go with awase-zume, 4th finger on the 2nd string, then on the 4th string, moving down, 1, 2, and 4. And now our left hand comes down, 1, 4th finger on the 6 as we come to the 5, 2, and 3, 4, and this is marked pianissimo. It's a soft, but think of it as a beautiful melody and singing out as you play. Ten, 8, 8, 7, 8, 1, 5. This next section I always think of as 1, 5, 5, 6, 7, 3. I think of the 6 and the 7 as kind of a way to connect to that next measure, and this can get actually quite busy here, so in order to do this effectively, sometimes when we play in an ascending pattern with our thumb, it's best to kind of play down and bounce our finger a little bit. 6, 7, 3. So 6, 7, 3, then 8, 8, then ending with 4, 6, and then we move on to that next shan with the awase-zume. I'll play that section one more time. Think of it as 1, 5, smooth down with the 5, 5, smooth down. Now, bounce on those. 8, 4, we're ready for the shan, 2, 3. As we play the 4, 6, you can place your 4th finger on the 2 string. Your thumb is all ready to go with the 5. You just add the 1st string. So 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and... Looking at Kodo 2, we can see that it starts just a little bit differently. There's still a tremolo, but we have, instead of an ascending glissando with the right hand, we have a descending glissando with the right hand. We were with the left hand before. Now we're with the right hand, down from 5 to 1 on the 1st beat, and there is space there as well. So it's 1, and then we start the tremolo, 3, 4, and kodo, ding, kodo. On 8, then 6, now down from 6 to 1, tremolo on 6, 3, and 4, and kodo, lifting in between each of these. 5, 3, move our hand up. So think of this as different in 2 maybe parts. You want to be smooth connecting them, but think of it in 2 sections. So the 5, 3, 1, 3, 5. Then move your hand up here for the 8, 10, 13, right? So 5, 3, 1. Then king, down, up, descending in groups of 2. So down, up, soft, down, up, then squeeze. Again, lifting a little bit with your wrist here, in between each of those, not using just your finger, and 1, 2. Lift here at the end of each of these. Now we have left hand on 1, awase-zumi with the 8 and the 13, so put your 4th finger on that 9 and be ready for that. Down to the 5 and 10 with my 4th finger on 1 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Next, we've got an awase-zumi with 4 and 6 using the index finger and the thumb. Generally, when awase-zumi like this are close, if it's adjacent strings, like if it were the 5 and the 6, or if there's just a single string in between the two, like this with 4 and 6, it's generally accepted to use the 2nd finger and the thumb. If it's further spread apart, you might start to use the 3rd finger out here. But here we've got the 4 and 6, just one string in the middle, so we're going to use the index finger, which is indicated with a single dash in this music. Again, this slightly rounded pattern, this rounded shape, and pinching the strings together with the corners of the pick. Your wrist is a little bit low. You don't want to be standing up too much like this, to the side like this. Make sure that you can see this shape, and pinching together and lifting. So 2, 3, and 4, and the 5. You want to make sure here that you strike the strings cleanly, that you don't come down on the strings in between. So we want to create a clean sound by coming down and pinching together just as we arrive at this string. So it's, listen when you play this, listen carefully, that you don't hear any clicking, that's very clean. Back to the 4 and 6. Smoothly down from the 5 here, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 3, and 4. This is right hand and left hand. Right finger is indicated with the 3 dashes, and left hand is indicated with a hidari. It's the kanji for left. Let's make sure that you're not spread out like this with your left hand way over here, that your hands kind of are basically in the same area of the koto. The further you move away from the ryukaku, the more the sound changes. It becomes softer out here. And I think it's good to have the sound about the same intensity, so it's good for them to be about the same distance from the ryukaku. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, then 3 and 8, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Here with this little pattern here, 5, 10, 10 scoop. Okay, it's important that we, this 5, 10, 10 scoop. So we want to think, if we think of this as our beat, it's strong, light, strong, light, strong, light. So that the first 10 up here should be a little bit lighter. And then think of, so it's down, up, 4 and 1, 2. You'll notice how that second 10 is lighter, and after the 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you for watching this video covering the A and B sections of Tsuchi Ningyo. You will find explanations for the remaining sections in an accompanying video.